Hello guys, my name is Khan, and in today's video we will be discussing very two important features of Power BI. One is the filtering and the second feature is the slicer. So don't worry if you have never done filtering or have sliced the data before, because in this video we will go through a very in detail about these two features of Power BI. So for this video, I will be using this CSV file, which is US Census. Again, this is based on this data file is based on hypothetical data. It's not realistic, so I just have created this data. I will show you what are the kind of variables which this data file is capturing. So we have this country variable, which is containing all is USA, so it's kind of a constant for this data because we are just looking at the US data. And under the state variable, we have for each state we have one row, and you can see we have 50 US states, and then we have the a short abbreviation of state, region. So again, each state is divided into 4 regions. So we will be using this data to slice our we will be using this variable to slice our data. And again, we will be having the population variable, death variable, marriage variable, and divorce. These all variables are capturing the numbers related to the population of the state, death numbers in the state, marriage in the states, and divorce. And then we also have some other variables like status variable, the state is poor or rich. Again, this data is hypothetical, have nothing to do with reality, but we will be using this data to give you an example. Again, I will go back to, so I will just minimize. So now the point is that we will be using Power BI. So I will be loading this data into Power BI first. So I will go to my search for Power BI, and here I will click it. So now it will load the Power BI on my desktop. So once the loading will be done, as I said you before, that Power BI works in 3 steps. In the first step, you import the data or get the data, and in the second step, you visualize the data, and in the third step, you publish your report or share your report with other users. So again, I will get the data. As I told you guys before, the data is my data for this video is in a CSV format. So I will select CSV, connect it, and this is the same data that I have shown you guys before. So I will select this, open it up. So once the import will be done, we will be able to see our variable names on the right hand side. So this is the data that I have shown you guys. So I will be simply saying load. So hopefully if the loading went successful, we will be able, as you can see, we have variables on my right hand side under the field. So the first thing for this video, I will create 2 quick visualizations and then apply filters over it. So let's see. So first what I will do, I will create a map. So as you can see that we have a state variable. If I select that state variable under the location, so because and Power BI automatically realized that this state have some location, and that's why they plotted on the map, which you can see it here. I will make it bigger for you guys. So it plotted all the states on this maps. But suppose if I want to control the sizes of these dots based on suppose population variable. So if the population of the state is higher, this dot will become a bit wider. So I will select the shape. So I will just scroll it down. You can see there is a size option here. I will drag this population here, and you can see the sizes got adjusted according to the population. And I will click create another visualization, a bar graph, a simple bar graph, which will be saying that how the population varies over rich or poor states. So as my status variable is have 2 categories, rich or poor. So I will select this bar option, and here the first thing I will select is the value, which is population. I will drag it under the value, and I will want to categorize based on status under the axis. So you can see it here. This graph is showing how the population for poor state is higher and the population for rich state is lower. But now the point is, suppose if you are in first, I will select the graph where I want to apply the filter. So if you look at your here where we are currently in the fields option, I scroll down, there is a heading which is named as filter, and for this graph we have selected two variables, population and state. So you can apply filters both on population and state variables. So how you can apply? So you can see that there is a down arrow expand option here. I will click that. So in Power BI, under the filter option, there are three types of filter. Basic filter, in which you can select the data point that you want to see or that you don't want to see. So suppose if I do select all, and then after that, if I don't want to see Alabama on my map, if I just unselect, you can see that there is one state disappear from here on my map. So suppose if I select it again, you can see that the state appears again, and if I select it all again, it will. So now I have just selected Alabama, so you can see that it excluded all other data points and it's just focusing on Alabama. When you apply the filters, so the users will not be able to change those filters. The filters will be focused on that graph, and again those filtering option will not be able. The users will not be able to change those filters. So suppose if I select it all again, and suppose I select all, and suppose Alaska is here. So suppose if I don't want to see Alaska, so if I unselect it, you can see the map got adjusted and Alaska is excluded from this graph. So this is one of the basic filtering option. But suppose there are another option which is very useful, advanced filtering. So advanced filtering allows you that here you can directly give the values or to Power BI to filter the data. So suppose here it's saying show item when the value contains. So suppose if I want to say if the value contains Alabama, then show it. But here make sure that you are writing down the correct spellings. And I also want to say that and if it also contains Alaska. And here is an option, apply filter. I think I have to select all option, and you can see here it's showing me both of these two states which I have mentioned here in my advanced filtering option. So again, important thing is that if you don't want to apply those filter, there is an option clear filter which you can use. As you can see it here, that there is an option clear filter. If I click it all, that all my data came back to that graph. But make sure whenever you apply filter, that those filters will be related to that graph only. And the second thing is that once you apply filters over your given graph, the users will not be able to change those filters. So when you will share your report and you have applied the filters on some graphs, the user will not be able to change and will not be able to see all the data which is behind that graph. So now currently I have shown you guys that how you can apply advanced filter, basic filter, and there is another option top N. This option is mostly useful when you will be using tables, and suppose you have some frequency stats and you also only want to see those categories which are the top ones. So here you can mention top 10 or top 5, but this filtering type is not related to this graph. But again, when you have a table or a bar graphs and you just want to focus on those categories which are the top one, you can mention here the 5 top, just show 5 top categories or 10 top categories, whatever category, whatever option which suits you, or whatever numbers that suits you. So now again, for this graph, for this map graph, we have used state variable and population variable. Again, you can also apply filters on the population variable too, but the point to note here is that the state variable is a kind of a categorical variable, whereas the population variable is more like a numeric variable. So once you move to your numeric variables, your options will get changed. So let's go to population variable now. But here you can see that is saying population is all, state is all. It means that no filter is applied on these variable. So once you apply filters, it will not be represented as is all. So I will go to my population. As I said, that population is a numeric variable. So you can here you can only apply a numeric condition. So what kind of numeric condition you can apply? So suppose if I want to say to Power BI that only plot those states which have a population less than 1.5 million. So in order to do that, I will come here and I will say there are many other options: is less than or equal to, greater than, is not, is blank, is not blank, is less than. For me, I will be using is less than option, but you can use options according to your need. And then I will be saying less than 1.5 million. And here I will apply filter. So once I applied filters, you can see that it's showing me only those states which have the population less than 1.5 million. And if I minimize this variable, here you can see that it's saying that population which is represented in this graph is less than 1.5 million. So it means that we have applied the filters. And suppose if I want to clear that filter, I will simply click it here again to clear it all. I will mention it again because it's very important that once you applied a filter, the users, once you share your report, your user will not be able to change this filter. So I will clear this filter now. So, but for the users to that if you want to give the power to the users to that they select the data according to their need, there is a very important tool or feature available in Power BI, which is a kind of a slicer. So you can add a feature of slicer in your dashboard, and that feature will allow the users to filter the data or to make your dashboard more dynamic. So in order to add a slicer to your Power BI dashboard, first I will go out of, I have selected a blank page, and here there is an option slicer. So I will click it here. Currently it's blank, so I want to, suppose as I mentioned in my CSV file that we have this region variable. This region variable is dividing the US states into 4 regions. So suppose if I want to give the freedom to my users that they select the data according to the region. So therefore I will select my region variable, and you can see once I've selected my region variable, there is an option here that I can select any of the region. So suppose if I select North Central, all the graphs which are within the page 1 got adjusted for according to the North Central region. And if I select South region, you can see that my map and even my bar graphs got adjusted for the South region data only and for the West region. But suppose if you want to select multiple region based on this slicer, you just have to press Control and then select your second choice. Northeast, you can select 3 or 4 options too, according to your need, and you can see your both of those graphs which are in this page. So, this slicer will be applicable to all the graphs of the table which are in the given page 1. So let's suppose if I go to my page 2, if I create another tab in my dashboard, And if I suppose just to give you an example, if I create another map, same map, create state, and if I change the values, if I select the size of my dots according to the population, which is the same thing that we have done previously. But the point I want to show you guys here, that here, so suppose if I select only North Central, and my both the graph which are under this page got adjusted according to the North Central region. But if I go to my page 2, nothing happened, because the slicers are only applicable to that given page. So in this video we have discussed two important features. One is the filtering and one is the slicer. The filtering will only allow the developer of the dashboard to filter the data for the given graph or the table, whereas the slicing option allow the users to interact with the dashboard, and slicer allow the users to manipulate, to filter the data according to their need. Thank you for watching the video.